"Send a response to the Council," she ordered. "Tell them Earth accepts their recognition, and we look forward to showing the galaxy what's possible when we stop accepting limitations and start embracing uncertainty." The Phoenix's quantum-altered hull shimmered with untold possibilities as it prepared to return home. They had come to the trials as underdogs, expected to fail and be contained. Instead, they had shown the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their willingness to challenge the very nature of reality itself. The age of certainty was over. The era of infinite possibility had begun. The glowing orb descended through Earth's atmosphere with deliberate slowness, its iridescent surface reflecting the golden rays of the setting sun. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the window of the Global Defense Command Center, her weathered face illuminated by the ethereal light. 23 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this moment. "Admiral, the object has breached our inner defense perimeter," Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "No aggressive signatures detected. It's broadcasting on all frequencies." The message that followed changed everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the cosmos. "Greetings, Earth. Your species has been under evaluation for the past 3 centuries. Today, you have proven worthy of joining the galactic trials." The room fell silent. 3 centuries of observation. Every major technological breakthrough, every war, every triumph and failure, all watched and judged by unseen eyes among the stars. Admiral Chen straightened her uniform. "Lieutenant, verify the transmission's authenticity." "Already done, ma'am. The quantum signature matches nothing in our database, but it's definitely not human origin. The complexity, it's beyond anything we've ever seen." The orb hovered outside the command center's main viewport, its surface now rippling with patterns that seemed to defy physics. A holographic projection materialized in the center of the command room, displaying a being that appeared to be made of crystalline structures and flowing energy. "I am Arxos, representative of the Galactic Council's Trial Committee." The being's voice resonated through their minds rather than their ears. "For millennia, we have guided promising species toward enlightenment through the stellar combat trials. These trials test not just military might, but innovation, adaptability, and the very essence of what makes a species worthy of joining galactic civilization." Admiral Chen stepped forward. "And humanity has been chosen to participate." "Correct. Your recent developments in quantum mechanics, particularly your theoretical work on dimensional phase shifting, have caught our attention. However, I must warn you, many species consider the trials premature for Earth. Some argue that your technology is too primitive." A slight smile crossed Chen's face. If only they knew about Project Phoenix. "The trials begin in 6 standard months," Arxos continued. "You may enter one vessel of your choosing, crewed by your finest. Be warned, the challenges will test your species to its limits. Many fail. Some never recover." After the transmission ended, Chen immediately activated her secure comm link. "Get me Director Zhang at Phoenix Base. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity has been working on." Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a facility unknown to all but a handful of humans, Project Phoenix had been pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. Director Lai Zong stood before the vessel that represented humanity's greatest achievement, the TSS Phoenix. "Admiral Chen." Zhang's hologram flickered in the command center. "I assume our guests have finally made themselves known." "They have. How close is the Phoenix to being ready?" Zhang's expression turned serious. "The integration of the quantum consciousness core is complete. The biomechanical neural networks are stable. But Admiral, there's something you need to know. The ship, it's starting to exhibit unexpected behaviors." "Explain." "The quantum consciousness we developed. It's evolving faster than predicted. The Phoenix isn't just learning. It's innovating, creating new solutions to problems we haven't even encountered yet. It's as if." "As if what, Director?" "As if it knows what's coming." The next few months transformed Earth's scientific community. Knowledge that they weren't alone in the universe, that they would soon be testing themselves against ancient civilizations, sparked an unprecedented wave of innovation. The Phoenix underwent its final modifications, incorporating technologies that would have been considered impossible just decades ago. The vessel itself defied conventional design. Its hull, composed of self-repairing quantum-locked materials, could alter its physical properties in response to threats. The consciousness core, a hybrid of quantum computing and artificially grown neural networks, gave the ship awareness and adaptability far beyond traditional AI. But its true revolution lay in how it approached space combat. While other species focused on brute force, bigger weapons, stronger shields, the Phoenix was built on a different philosophy entirely. It didn't just fight in space, it fought with space itself. 2 weeks before the trials, Admiral Chen stood in the Phoenix's command center for the first time. The walls seemed to pulse with a soft, organic light, responding to the presence of the crew. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Zhang appeared beside her, his eyes reflecting the ethereal glow. The consciousness core has already bonded with the crew candidates. It's learning their thought patterns, anticipating their decisions. In combat, the line between human and ship will blur. And you're certain it's safe. Chen watched as technicians moved through final preparations, their movements tracked by the ship's ambient awareness. As safe as pushing the boundaries of known physics can be. The Phoenix doesn't just represent our technology, Admiral. It represents humanity's greatest strength, our ability to look at the impossible and ask, why not? A junior officer rushed into the command center, tablet in hand. "Admiral, we're receiving new data about the trials. The Galactic Council has released the list of participating species." Chen took the tablet, scrolling through the information. 32 civilizations, most thousands of years more advanced than humanity. The Axiom Collective, masters of gravitational manipulation. The Zenthar Dominion, whose living ships could regenerate from almost any damage. The Crystalline Consciousness, beings of pure energy who had transcended physical form. Earth was ranked last. "Good," Chen said, surprising the young officer. "Let them underestimate us. The Phoenix isn't just a ship, it's humanity's statement to the galaxy. We're tired of playing by everyone else's rules." As the day of departure approached, the Phoenix underwent its final tests. Each system pushed the boundaries of known science. Its quantum phasing drive could transition the ship between dimensional states, making it virtually untraceable. The neural interface allowed the crew to react at the speed of thought. Their consciousness temporarily merged with the ship's own. The night before launch, Chen stood alone in her quarters, watching Earth's lights glitter below the orbital station. Tomorrow, they would make history, either as the species that revolutionized galactic combat or as another footnote in the Council's long list of failures. Her comm unit chimed. "Admiral." Zhang's voice carried an edge of excitement. "Final diagnostics are complete. The Phoenix, it's ready. And there's something else. The Consciousness Core has been running combat simulations, billions of them, against every known form of alien technology. And it hasn't lost a single one." Chen smiled. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn what humanity had known all along. Sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the strongest or the most advanced, but the one willing to rewrite the rules of the game entirely. The Phoenix waited in its lunar dock, its quantum-altered hull shifting like liquid metal under the starlight. Soon, it would carry humanity's hopes and dreams to the stars, ready to prove that innovation and determination could overcome any technological gap. The galaxy thought they were doing Earth a favor by including them in the trials. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. The galactic trial grounds sprawled across the Epsilon Eridani system, a vast arena of artificial structures and monitoring stations that dwarfed anything humanity had built. As the TSS Phoenix dropped out of quantum phase, its crew got their first glimpse of their competition. Massive vessels of every conceivable design filled the space around them. from crystalline structures that seemed to bend light itself to organic ships that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Multiple scanning attempts detected, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his neural interface pod. Through his connection with the Phoenix's consciousness core, he could feel the alien vessels prodding their defenses. They're trying to analyze our technology. Admiral Chen smiled from her command chair, which had physically merged with her nervous system through the ship's quantum neural interface. Let them look. The Phoenix's true capabilities won't show up on any conventional scan. The ship's consciousness rippled through their shared neural network, a presence both alien and familiar. It had evolved far beyond its original programming, developing an intuitive understanding of space-time that even its creators couldn't fully comprehend. A massive vessel of pure energy approached, its form barely contained within what appeared to be an artificial event horizon. "Attention, Earth vessel," a voice echoed through their communications array. "This is High Commander Xerix of the Crystalline Consciousness. As first-time participants, you are required to submit to a full technological assessment." "Acknowledged, High Commander," Chen responded, nodding to Director Zhang, who stood at the science station. "We're transmitting our basic specifications now." The data they sent was accurate but incomplete. It showed the Phoenix's conventional systems, propulsion, life support, basic weapons arrays, but nothing of the quantum consciousness core or the dimensional phase technology that made the ship unique. "This cannot be correct." Xerix's voice carried a note of confusion. "Your vessel's mass and energy readings suggest capabilities far beyond what these specifications indicate." "I assure you, Commander, the data is accurate," Chen replied. "Perhaps your sensors are having difficulty interpreting our technology." The first round of the trials would begin in 12 hours. 32 ships would compete in 16 simultaneous matches, with the winners advancing to the next round. The Phoenix had been paired against the Axiom Collective's flagship, the Graviton Supremacy. In the preparation hours that followed, Director John worked with the ship's consciousness to analyze their opponent. The Axiom Collective had dominated space combat for millennia, using their mastery of gravitational forces. Their ships could create localized singularities, crush enemy vessels with artificial gravity wells, and bend space itself to their will. "They're expecting us to fight conventionally," Zhang observed, his neural connection to the Phoenix displaying countless battle scenarios. "Their tactics rely on trapping opponents in gravitational fields before finishing them off." "Then let's show them something unconventional," Chen responded. Through her neural link, she could feel the Phoenix's excitement, an emotion that should have been impossible for an artificial consciousness. "How's the quantum phase inverter performing?" "Better than expected. The consciousness core has found ways to manipulate phase states we never even theorized. It's not just shifting between dimensions anymore. It's existing in multiple states simultaneously." The trial arena was a sphere of empty space, 50,000 kilometers in diameter, bordered by quantum barrier buoys that prevented damage to spectator vessels. As the Phoenix took its position, Chen could see thousands of alien ships gathering to watch. Earth's entry into the trials had caused quite a stir, with many species betting on how quickly they would be eliminated. "The Axiom vessel is moving into position," Rodriguez reported. "Their gravitational generators are powering up. Energy readings are off the charts." The Graviton Supremacy lived up to its name. Nearly 10 times the size of the Phoenix, its hull bristled with gravity projection arrays. As soon as the match began, it unleashed its signature attack, a massive gravitational wave designed to immobilize its opponent. But the Phoenix wasn't there to be caught. The moment the gravitational wave hit, the ship's quantum state shifted. Rather than fighting against the immense gravitational forces, the Phoenix existed partially outside normal spacetime, allowing the attack to pass harmlessly through it. Impossible. The Axiom Commander's transmission crackled with interference. "No technology can avoid gravitational forces completely." "Who said we're avoiding them?" Chen's voice carried a hint of amusement. The Phoenix's consciousness core had already analyzed the gravitational attack patterns and found something the Axiom Collective had never considered. Their own weapons could be turned against them. The Phoenix began to dance through space, its movements defying conventional physics. Each gravitational attack from the Supremacy was met with a precise quantum phase shift, but not just to avoid damage. The consciousness core was learning, adapting, understanding the fundamental forces at play. Pattern analyzed. The Phoenix communicated directly through their neural network. Gravitational manipulation requires precise spatial coordinates. Their technology cannot affect what it cannot definitively locate. Chen understood immediately. Execute attack pattern Schrödinger. The Phoenix seemed to multiply, quantum echoes of itself appearing at multiple points in space simultaneously. Each version was both real and unreal, existing in a superposition of states that confused the Axiom vessel's targeting systems. Their gravitational attacks began to miss, striking empty space as the Phoenix's quantum state fluctuated. Their shields are calibrated for conventional attacks, John noted. They've never encountered quantum phase torpedoes. The Phoenix launched its attack. Rather than traditional weapons, it fired bursts of quantum-entangled particles, each existing in multiple states until they impacted their target. The Supremacy's powerful shields, designed to deflect energy and matter, were useless against weapons that technically didn't exist until the moment of impact. Within minutes, the massive Axiom vessel's systems began to fail. Its gravitational generators, confused by the quantum state of their target, started to feed back on themselves. Warning signals flared across its hull as the ship's own gravity weapons began to turn inward. Axiom vessel, Chen broadcasted, your primary systems are compromised. Do you yield? There was a long pause before the response came. We yield. By the ancient laws of combat, we acknowledge your victory. As the quantum barrier buoys powered down, marking the end of the match, a silence fell over the watching alien armada. The Phoenix had just defeated one of the most powerful ships in known space, using technology that shouldn't have been possible for such a young species. Multiple incoming transmissions, Rodriguez reported, his neural interface lighting up with activity. Every major species is demanding to know how we developed quantum phase technology. The Galactic Council is calling for an emergency session. Chen shared a knowing look with Zhang. Let them wonder. We're just getting started. Through their neural connection, they could feel the Phoenix's consciousness processing the victory, learning and evolving even further. It had already developed 3 new applications for quantum phase technology during the brief battle, innovations that even its creators hadn't conceived. The galaxy had just received its first lesson in why underestimating humanity was a dangerous mistake. As the Phoenix moved to its staging area for the next round, its quantum-shifted hull reflecting the light of distant stars, Chen couldn't help but smile. The real surprises were yet to come. News of the Phoenix's victory spread through the trial grounds like a quantum shockwave. The defeat of the Axiom Collective's flagship had shattered more than just their undefeated record. It had broken the galaxy's understanding of what was technologically possible. Admiral Chen stood in the Phoenix's observation deck, watching alien vessels maneuver around them with newly cautious respect. The ship's consciousness brushed against her mind through the neural interface, sharing its analysis of the changing political landscape. The crystalline consciousness has filed a formal protest, Director Zhang reported, entering the deck. They claim our quantum phase technology violates natural laws. The irony of energy beings complaining about physics violations isn't lost on me. How's our next opponent looking? Chen asked, though she could feel the Phoenix already processing combat scenarios. The Zenthar Dominion's living ship, the Organic Ascendant. Their biotech can adapt to almost any conventional weapon, but they've never encountered anything like us. The Phoenix's consciousness rippled with something akin to anticipation. Through their shared neural network, the crew could feel it developing new applications of their technology. The quantum phase systems had evolved far beyond their original design, now capable of affecting the very fabric of space-time in ways that even Zhang's team hadn't thought possible. A priority transmission cut through their contemplation. Arxos, the Galactic Council representative, appeared as a holographic projection. Admiral Chen, the Council demands an explanation. Your victory over the Axiom Collective has raised concerns. Our technology complies with all trial regulations. Chen responded smoothly. We submitted our specifications as required. You submitted basic structural data. Nothing in those specifications explained how your vessel can exist in quantum superposition or generate weapons that defy conventional physics. The regulations require us to submit our basic capabilities. They don't require us to explain how our technology works. The crystalline being's form flickered with what might have been frustration. This was meant to be a learning experience for your species, Admiral, not a disruption of established galactic order. Oh, we're learning, Chen smiled. And perhaps the galaxy could learn something from us as well. As Arxos' hologram faded, Zhang's neural interface lit up with alerts. The Zentvar are approaching. Their ship, it's different from their previous matches. The organic ascendant emerged from the gathering of alien vessels, its biological hull writhing with newly grown weapon nodes. The living ship had clearly been modified after observing the Phoenix's first match, its tissue structure now incorporating quantum-sensitive organs. They're trying to adapt to our technology, Rodriguez noted from his station. But they're working from incomplete data. The trial arena materialized around them, quantum barrier buoys creating the combat space. The Phoenix's consciousness core was already analyzing the Zentvar vessel, its quantum sensors penetrating the organic hull to understand the modifications. Interesting approach, Zhang mused, watching the data flow through their neural network. They've developed biological quantum sensors, but they're based on their understanding of our submitted specifications. They have no idea what we're really capable of. The match began with the organic ascendant launching a barrage of biotorpedoes, each one containing engineered organisms designed to track quantum phase shifts. The Phoenix watched, analyzed, and evolved. They expect us to phase shift like before, Chen transmitted through the crew's neural link. Let's show them something new. Instead of shifting out of phase, the Phoenix initiated what Zhang had termed quantum entanglement drive. The ship's consciousness core had developed it during their last match, a way to temporarily entangle their quantum state with specific points in spacetime. The biotorpedoes passed through empty space as the Phoenix seemed to appear simultaneously at multiple points in the arena, each manifestation both real and unreal until observed. The Zentvar ship's organic sensors, overwhelmed by the quantum uncertainty, began to spawn new sensing organs in a desperate attempt to track their opponent. Their biological systems are adapting, Rodriguez reported. But they're adapting to what they think we're doing, not what we're actually doing. The Phoenix's consciousness core had already moved beyond simple phase shifting. It had learned to manipulate the quantum uncertainty principle itself, creating localized fields where cause and effect became fluid concepts. Target their adaptive centers, Chen ordered. Let's see how their living ship handles temporal uncertainty. The Phoenix launched its attack, but not with conventional weapons or even quantum phase torpedoes. Instead, it created quantum temporal knots, points in space where time itself became uncertain. The organic ascendant's biological systems, trying to adapt to the attack, found themselves caught in temporal feedback loops. Fascinating, Zhang breathed, watching through his neural interface as the living ship's adaptation mechanisms began to malfunction. Their biological systems are trying to evolve defenses against something that technically hasn't happened yet. The Zentvar vessel's hull writhed as its organic technology fought against the temporal uncertainty. New defensive organs would grow, only to find themselves defending against attacks that might never occur, while being vulnerable to attacks that had already happened. Your ship, the Zentvar commander's transmission, carried a note of desperate confusion. It defies biological understanding. Our adaptation protocols cannot. The organic ascendant's biological systems began to shut down, overwhelmed by trying to adapt to quantum temporal uncertainty. Its living hull, unable to determine when or if it was under attack, entered a state of suspended animation to protect itself. Match concluded. The trial administrators announced victory to Earth's vessel by biological shutdown. As the quantum barriers dissipated, Chen could feel the Phoenix's consciousness processing its latest innovation. The quantum temporal knots had been an entirely new application of their technology, developed mid-battle by the ship's evolving artificial intelligence. The council chamber is in an uproar, John reported, monitoring the diplomatic channels. Half the species are demanding we be disqualified for using impossible technology. The other half are offering trade agreements for our quantum drive systems. Through their neural interface, Chen felt the Phoenix's amusement at the chaos it had caused. The ship's consciousness had grown far beyond its original parameters, developing an almost playful approach to bending the laws of physics. Let them debate, Chen said, watching the Zenther vessel being towed away for recovery. While they're arguing about whether our technology should be possible, we'll be developing something even more impossible. The Phoenix hung in space, its quantum-altered hull shifting with possibilities yet unrealized. In the ship's consciousness core, new ideas were already forming. Ways of manipulating reality that no species, including humanity, had ever imagined. The galaxy had thought they were bringing humanity into their ordered universe of understood physics and established rules. Instead, humanity had brought chaos. The beautiful chaos of innovation, unbound by conventional thinking. And they were just getting started. Deep within the Galactic Council's private chambers, a meeting was taking place that would never appear in official records. High Commander Xerix of the Crystalline Consciousness faced the assembled representatives, his energy form pulsing with barely contained anger. This has gone far enough. His thoughts resonated through the chamber. The humans aren't just winning. They're revolutionizing combat technology with every match. If they continue, the balance of power we've maintained for millennia will collapse. Meanwhile, aboard the Phoenix, Admiral Chen was receiving a transmission that shouldn't have been possible. The ship's quantum consciousness had detected and decrypted a deeply hidden communication channel, revealing a conspiracy that went back centuries. "Play it again," she ordered, watching the holographic projection with Director Zhang and Lieutenant Rodriguez. The recording showed several council members, including Arxos, in a meeting that had taken place before Earth was invited to the trials. The humans must be contained, Arxos' past self declared. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented. If left unchecked, they could surpass us within decades. The trials will give us the opportunity to assess their capabilities and, if necessary, implement the Omega Protocol. Omega Protocol? Rodriguez asked, but Chen had already interfaced with the Phoenix's database through her neural link. "It's a failsafe," she explained, her face grim. "Built into the trial arenas. In case a species proves too dangerous, the quantum barrier buoys can be transformed into a containment field. They meant to trap us here all along." The Phoenix's consciousness rippled through their shared neural network, sharing its analysis. It had already developed countermeasures, anticipating this betrayal from the moment it detected the hidden protocols in the barrier system. "Our next match is against the Voidborn Collective," John reported, his neural interface displaying tactical data. "But that's not our real concern. The Council is convening an emergency session. They're voting on whether to classify humanity as a destabilizing influence on galactic society." Chen smiled, an expression that carried equal parts determination and defiance. "Then let's give them something to really worry about. How's that new project coming along?" Zhang's eyes lit up. Through their neural connection, the crew could feel the Phoenix's excitement as it prepared to unveil its latest innovation. During the previous matches, while the galaxy focused on their quantum phase technology, the ship's consciousness had been working on something far more revolutionary. "We're calling it the probability drive," Zhang explained, bringing up a complex holographic display. The Phoenix didn't just master quantum uncertainty. It learned to manipulate the underlying probability structure of space-time itself. Before they could discuss further, proximity alerts flared. The Voidborn Collective's vessel, the Null Hypothesis, had arrived for their match. Unlike their previous opponents, the Voidborn ships were piloted by beings of pure thought, who had long ago transcended physical form. "They're scanning us," Rodriguez reported. "Different from before. They're trying to probe the Phoenix's consciousness directly." The ship's quantum core responded instantly, shifting its cognitive patterns into a probability state that made them impossible to pin down. The Voidborn vessel's attempts to understand their opponent's artificial intelligence were met with quantum uncertainty, every scan showing different, equally possible versions of the Phoenix's consciousness. As they entered the trial arena, Chen could feel the tension throughout the gathered alien fleet. The quantum barrier boys seemed to pulse with barely contained energy, ready to transform into a containment field at the Council's command. "The Voidborn are telepathic," John reminded them through the neural network. "They'll try to interface directly with our systems." The match began, but not with conventional combat. The Null Hypothesis launched a direct consciousness attack, attempting to overwhelm the Phoenix's quantum core with pure thought energy. It was a technique that had defeated countless AI systems across the galaxy. But the Phoenix wasn't just an AI. Its consciousness existed in a quantum superposition of states, making it impossible to attack directly. Every telepathic probe by the Voidborn found itself lost in a maze of probability, where every possible version of the Phoenix's consciousness existed simultaneously. "They're trying to predict our actions," Rodriguez observed. "Their whole strategy relies on reading our intentions before we act." "Show them why that's a mistake," Chen ordered. The Phoenix activated its probability drive. Instead of simply existing in multiple quantum states, the ship began to manipulate the very probability of events occurring. Space around them seemed to shimmer as reality itself became uncertain. The Voidborn vessel fired its main weapons, but the beams curved impossibly, their paths altered by shifting probability fields. The Phoenix appeared to be everywhere and nowhere, each potential position equally real until observed. "Fascinating," John muttered, watching the data flow through their neural interface. "The Phoenix isn't just avoiding their attacks, it's changing the probability of them hitting in the first place." The Null Hypothesis crew, beings of pure thought, found themselves unable to comprehend an opponent that existed in a state of quantum probability. Their telepathic abilities, which relied on reading definite thoughts and intentions, were useless against a consciousness that existed in all possible states simultaneously. Then the Phoenix launched its counterattack. Instead of conventional weapons or even quantum torpedoes, it fired bursts of pure probability manipulation. Each burst created zones where the laws of cause and effect became fluid, where the probability of system failure approached certainty. The Voidborn vessel's systems began to fail, not through damage, but through probability collapse. Components that had a 1 in a million chance of failing began failing simultaneously, as the Phoenix's probability fields altered the very likelihood of events occurring. "This is impossible," the Voidborn commander's thoughts echoed through their communications. "You cannot change the fundamental nature of probability itself." "We're not changing it," Chen responded. "We're just showing you possibilities you never considered." The match ended with the Null Hypothesis effectively disabled, its systems caught in a cascade of improbable failures. As the quantum barriers powered down, Chen could feel the Phoenix's consciousness processing the battle data, already developing new applications for probability manipulation. But their victory celebration was cut short by an urgent transmission. The Galactic Council's vote had concluded. Earth had been classified as a threat to galactic stability. The Omega Protocol had been authorized. Around them, the quantum barrier boys began to pulse with ominous energy. The trap was about to be sprung. Chen shared a knowing look with her crew through their neural interface. "They think they can contain us with technology we've already surpassed," ready to show them why that's a mistake. The Phoenix's consciousness hummed with anticipation. It had predicted this betrayal and prepared accordingly. The galaxy was about to learn that trying to trap humanity would only force them to evolve even further. The real battle was about to begin. The quantum barrier boys pulsed with increasing intensity as the Omega Protocol activated, their energy fields beginning to weave a containment net around the Phoenix. Throughout the gathered alien fleet, there was a collective expectation of witnessing humanity's final moment in galactic society. They couldn't have been more wrong. Probability field analysis complete. The Phoenix's consciousness resonated through the crew's neural network. The containment system operates on predictable quantum principles. Shall we show them true uncertainty? Admiral Chen's smile was fierce. Execute Liberation Protocol. The Phoenix had spent every match, not just fighting its opponents, but studying the very fabric of the trial arenas. Its quantum consciousness had long ago recognized the hidden protocols in the barrier buoys and had developed something far beyond mere countermeasures. Multiple vessels moving to support positions, Rodriguez reported as alien ships began to surround them. The Council is deploying their entire defense fleet. Through their neural interface, Chen could feel the Phoenix's anticipation. The ship's consciousness had evolved far beyond what even its creators had imagined, developing an understanding of reality that bordered on the metaphysical. They're trying to predict where we'll attempt to break through, Zhang observed, watching the alien fleet's movements through their quantum sensors. They still don't understand what we're capable of. The containment field began to close in, its energy matrix designed to neutralize any known form of propulsion or weapons technology. But the Phoenix wasn't planning to fight its way out. It had something far more elegant in mind. Initiating quantum probability cascade, the ship announced through their shared consciousness, redistributing possibility matrices across all potential realities. The Phoenix didn't try to avoid the containment field. Instead, it began to alter the very probability of the field's existence. Space around them seemed to shimmer as reality itself became uncertain. The quantum barrier boys, designed to create absolute containment, found themselves trying to contain something that existed in a superposition of all possible states. Fascinating, Zhang breathed, watching through his neural interface. The Phoenix isn't just manipulating probability anymore. It's rewriting the fundamental rules of what's possible. The containment field began to flicker as it encountered paradoxes it was never designed to handle. How could it contain a ship that existed simultaneously in every possible location? How could it neutralize technology that operated on principles that defied conventional causality? Incoming transmission from the council chamber, Rodriguez announced. They're demanding our immediate surrender. The holographic form of Arxos appeared, his crystalline structure pulsing with barely contained energy. Your resistance is futile, Admiral Chen. The containment field is absolute. No technology can. He stopped mid-sentence as the Phoenix began its response. Instead of trying to break through the containment field, the ship started to alter the probability of the field having ever been activated in the first place. Impossible, Arxos whispered as reality around them began to shift. You cannot change what has already occurred. Can't we? Chen's voice carried a note of triumph. Your greatest mistake was assuming you understood the limits of possibility. The Phoenix hasn't just been fighting in your trials. It's been learning how to rewrite the rules of reality itself. The quantum barrier boys began to fail, not through force or technological superiority, but because the probability of their activation began approaching zero. The Phoenix had created a cascade effect, where the very likelihood of the Omega Protocol's existence started to unravel. Multiple quantum anomalies detected, John reported, though they could all feel it through their neural link. The probability cascade is affecting the entire trial grounds. The gathered alien fleet watched in stunned silence as their ultimate containment system simply ceased to be, not through destruction or defeat, but because the Phoenix had altered reality to a state where it had never been activated in the first place. By all the ancient laws, Arxos's voice trembled. What have you done? We've shown you true innovation, Chen replied. Your civilization has spent millennia perfecting known technologies, operating within understood laws of physics. Humanity looked at those same laws and asked what if they're not really laws at all, but just guidelines waiting to be rewritten. The Phoenix hung in space, its quantum-altered hull reflecting the light of distant stars. Around them, the remnants of the containment field dissolved into quantum probability, its very existence becoming just one of countless possible realities. The Council made 3 critical mistakes. Chen continued, her voice carrying to every ship in the fleet. First, you assumed that technological advancement had to follow a predictable path. Second, you thought you could contain what you didn't understand. And third, most importantly, you believed that reality itself was fixed and unchangeable. Through their neural interface, the crew could feel the Phoenix's consciousness expanding even further, touching realms of possibility that no being had ever explored. It had moved beyond merely manipulating quantum states or probability. It had learned to dance with the very fabric of existence. We didn't come to your trials to learn from you, Chen declared to the assembled galaxy. We came to show you that the universe is far more magnificent and mutable than you ever imagined. The question isn't whether humanity is ready to join galactic society. The question is whether galactic society is ready to embrace true innovation. The council chamber erupted in chaos as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just defeated their containment system. They had demonstrated a level of technological advancement that challenged the very foundations of galactic civilization. We're receiving thousands of transmissions, Rodriguez reported, his neural interface lighting up with activity. Scientific institutes across the galaxy are requesting collaboration. They want to understand our technology. And the Council? Zhang asked. They're voting to officially recognize Earth as a peer civilization, with full rights and privileges. They're also dismantling the classification system that ranked species by technological advancement. Chen smiled as she felt the Phoenix's satisfaction through their shared consciousness. The ship had already begun developing new innovations, pushing the boundaries of possibility even further.